thegearnetwork.com.
The following is a presentation of the Gear Radio Network.
Listen here, Pumpkinhead. This is the American Dream Dusty Rhodes, and you are listening to my favorite podcast. Oh, baby, it helps me win so much money. You are listening to Chaz and Jay on the Fantasy Football Bros podcast. It's the American Dream, and they are living it.
Here we go. Hey, everything on three. Number three. Wait on one. Oh, wait on three. 1, 2, 3. I am next up in that. Eyes on three. Everything on 3 and 1. Everything.
You are now listening to the Fantasy Football Bros podcast.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Fantasy Football Bros podcast. It's your boy.
Oh, here we go with this drop.
What? You got? I didn't even say my name. It's Chaz. Wait a minute. It's your boy Chaz, and the champ is here, y'all.
You're unbelievable.
Thank you. I have my own sound drop. What can I say? And we're doing virtually today. So joining me to my virtual left, we got the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Jay Coleman. Jay Coleman, what's up, dog?
What's up?
And virtually to my right, we got the no nickname, no nonsense.
Hey there, little fella.
What's up, guys? Oh, come on. Give me a break. Hey, guys. What's going on? How are we doing today, fellas?
That's on you because you're grounded right now.
Yeah, I'm in the doghouse, guys. Sorry, I was a little late today.
Yep, a little late. You are grounded.
I'm keeping Jay up way past his bedtime. It's totally on me today.
Well, that's okay. Is there any major news in the world of football we need to discuss? I don't think so. Well, Tyreek Hill, apparently, right?
Tyreek Hill, I guess, is the only thing. I don't think we're really surprised by it. I mean, he's had issues already off the field, got him dropped. For those of you who are wondering, he's allegedly attacked somebody at a marina going on a boat or some shit. The league is now investigating.
Well, then he sent them down to look for the Titanic. Too soon.
Too soon, bud.
Too soon.
Too soon. Jesus Christ,
way too soon.
Come on, man. They haven't even found it yet. We're gonna have to edit that out.
We don't edit here.
We edit.
It seems like I'm the only one drinking. Plug to Hamburg hard cider.
I just got out of volleyball. I can't. I'll have to go get one in a second.
So, we ain't got no other things to talk about. It was a quiet week for once.
It was actually kind of nice
because all the information with Tyreek Hill is still up for debate. Nobody knows yet, so there's nothing really to talk about. So we can just start firing away, right?
Yeah.
So, Jay, why don't you tell them what we are doing today?
NFC West and AFC West rankings.
Yeah, we're going to go over their off season, what they did. Jay, also, by the way, I want you to find for each team we're talking about, I want you to find their projected depth chart because that's what we did last year. You were giving us the depth chart. So
I already got it.
Okay, my man.
So this guy with the read. This guy's coming in hot. I mean, he had a little extra time to get it all set while I was getting my way in here. So
I said, Jay, I want you to do this, and Jay said,
"Your opinion really doesn't matter."
Pretty much.
I said, Jay, you want to do some work?
You're a valued member here.
No.
It's our show now.
All right, guys. So we'll get into. We're going to start. We are going to start. Adam, who do you think we are going to start with?
Oh, could it be one and only Daddy?
Wait for it, Adam. Wait for it. We are going to start with. Wait for it.
Reigning, defending, undisputed
Super Bowl champions and MVP of the league, the Kansas City Chiefs.
That's probably a good place to start.
Has a new drop sound, everybody?
I like it, actually. That's a good one.
New drop sounds good. Okay, so this is what I want from you, Adam. Tell me their key departures.
Oh, okay. They have quite a few, actually. Well,
in my eyes, I don't call him key, but they do. Offensive tackle Orlando Brown. Okay,
That's big.
that is a big one. Safety Juan Thornhill. Wide receiver Juju Smith-Schuster. Defensive. Where am I here? My light just turned on. It's crazy.
Defensive tackle.
Defensive tackle Kalen Saunders. Offensive lineman Andrew Wiley. Another big loss for them, I think.
Yep.
And then edge rusher Frank Clark and
Huge.
Chad Henne retired. Had no idea.
Well, the Frank Clark thing is huge.
But apparently that's a key departure, so I guess here we are.
Well, the Frank Clark thing.
Frank Clark is big on defense. He's a powerhouse and he's a force. Definitely runs that defense.
Which I think they'll figure it out and they will re-sign him. Losing Juju's a big deal because they didn't bring anything in, so really worth it. So their key additions in re-signings are offensive tackle Jawan Taylor, offensive tackle Donovan Smith. Those seem like downgrades. Wide receiver Richie James, that's a downgrade. Edge rusher Charles Ominhu, downgrade. Safety Mike Edwards, that's probably an upgrade. Linebacker Drew Tranquil, which was made infamous on our show for getting trucked by Cordell Patterson last year.
That's right. I forgot about that.
That's a downgrade. Blaine Gabbert is a downgrade because he's garbage. And running back Jarek McKinnon is great. He needs to stay there. So and then they had the draft additions of Felix and Duque Uzama, Rashee Rice, and Wayne Morris. So Felix and Duque Uzama is not going to replace Frank Clark right away, but Clark's going to be back. And Rashee Rice, they don't seem to really focus on rookies, but their biggest possible loss is their offensive coordinator. Eric Bieniemy went to Washington. So that Patrick Mahomes, I don't believe, has ever been without this guy.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
But it's kind of that situation of, does the apple fall from the tree? Is it him or is it Andy Reid?
I mean, we're not saying Andy Reid's not a good coach, right? That's not what you're saying?
No, I'm saying, is it him? Is it going to matter because they still have Andy Reid? Is what I'm saying. Like, is Bieniemy is losing Eric Bieniemy as offensive coordinator? We'll start with Jay with this one. Is losing him as big of a deal as some people think, or is it pretty much even because they still have Andy Reid? What do you think, Jay?
I think it's going to be significant because he's never had anyone else, so they're going to have someone new. You got to figure out, you got to mesh and everything. So, there's definitely probably going to be some sort of impact of it.
What's your take on that, Adam?
I've said it before, and I'm going to say it again. Chiefs are daddy, and they're going to remain daddy, and it's not going to matter. Guess what? Didn't have Tyreek Hill last year. Didn't matter. Patrick Mahomes still got it done. And I think that he is a bigger key in their offense and calling plays and figuring out a defense more than their offensive coordinator was anyway. I'm not taking away from Bieniemy. Probably losing him is definitely going to have an impact, but I don't think it's going to be anything that we're going to notice. He's MVP, and he's going to remain MVP.
Reigning, defending, undisputed.
That's very true. But here's my take on the Bieniemy situation. The dude has always been up for head coaching jobs the past few years, and he never gets them. And a bunch of head coaching jobs come up. He interviews. He gets an offensive coordinator job in Washington. The league doesn't seem to believe in Eric Bieniemy. The league seems to believe that it's all Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid. So if the league is feeling that way, I'm going to lead that way and feel like it doesn't matter. It's going to hurt more that Patrick, I think, is coming in with all brand new weapons for the second year in a row.
Second year in a row. First year didn't matter.
But the difference was he lost Tyreek Hill.
Right.
This year, he already lost Juju. He lost Hardman. He lost Valdez.
Hardman barely played anyway. He's not going to make a difference.
But Patrick is going to go in there with 4 probably first and second year receivers. So,
maybe.
Patrick, you can't just be like, it's Patrick Mahomes. He'll have no struggles ever in his entire life because he's made.
I'm not saying he's not going to have struggles. He does. All quarterbacks do, right? But we thought he was going to struggle without Tyreek Hill going deep every time. And guess what? Still got Travis Kelce down the middle.
Well, they changed their offense completely, and that's smart. That's coaching.
And they're going to have to change it again.
Yeah, you're right. Jay, why don't you tell us what their projected starting lineup is?
According to ESPN, it's Mahomes. Who? Wide receivers are Scantling, Kadarius Toney, and Sky Moore, Travis Kelce, and then Pacheco for the running back with McKinnon as second and Clyde Edwards-Helaire as third string.
Dude, he's down to third string. Holy shit!
I guess.
I'm actually surprised they didn't cut him.
Can you still believe that they drafted that kid over Jonathan Taylor and DeAndre Swift?
It's mind blowing, really, but
mind-boggling, isn't it?
It is mind-boggling.
So, like, I think they're out. Well, we do have to. We should bring up. Obviously, there's always been rumors of Nuke Hopkins going there, but I think they're out on that. But I don't think they're out on any of these like old running backs. And I don't even mean Dalvin. I mean, you could think of Zeke. You could think of
Fournette.
You know, Kareem Hunt come back, maybe. Right. So
imagine that. Oh my god. Oh my god.
I just don't think. I mean, they're going to run with it. They're going to run with Pacheco, who's a 7th round pick, and Jerick McKinnon, who used to always get hurt, and Clyde Edwards-Helaire, who they don't like, obviously. So, I don't think they're out on the market for that. So, we're not going to do our rankings yet. I mean, we'll do that at the end of the segment. But any final words on them? I mean, obviously, when we're talking fantasy football, guys, everyone's in play from this team. The quarterback.
I agree. I don't think
all
there's anybody...
three running backs are going to be undrafted.
Jerick McKinnon scored 9 touchdowns last year. He's definitely on the radar. I would think in the maybe if you're looking for a second running back, even those are good touchdown numbers. Obviously, Patrick Mahomes is going to go early. You know, any quarterback like that, and really, it's going to be kind of a crapshoot with the wide receivers that they have this year, but take them anyway. Have them on your roster because Mahomes has to throw to somebody, and it's not always going to be Travis Kelce. He might get the majority, but he has to throw it somewhere. So,
Jay, read me their receivers again one more time.
MVS, Kadarius Toney, Sky Moore, and then they got Rashee Rice.
Rashee Rice was their draft pick. Yep.
Richie James, Justin Watson.
Jesus.
Okay. So
how many?
Actually, to be honest with you,
here's my question.
That doesn't sound that bad.
No, they don't. How many of those guys get drafted on fantasy teams?
5 out of 6.
I would definitely say 4. I would definitely say 4. And maybe
MVS for sure. Sky Moore for sure.
Rashee Rice for sure. And Toney for sure.
Kadarius Toney for sure. So there's 4 right there.
And then possibly Richie James.
Maybe Richie James. Yeah, he's got some speed. Did he come over from the Giants, I think, right?
Yeah, he was
a Giant, right? Yeah. Yeah, we don't really know what he's got, but you got Patrick Mahomes throwing you the ball, so.
And their receiving core is better now without Hill because they can afford all these guys.
Yep, agreed.
How many of those receivers would you draft, Jay?
I don't know, probably 3, at least half of them, 3 of the 6. So
that's a lot. Mm-hmm. And of course,
that is a lot.
Travis Kelce, of course.
Yeah, sure, but we're not lumping him in wide receiver group though.
And of course, their kicker, and of course, their defense is always pretty good.
Yep,
Travis Kelce is a first-round pick, guys. Warning.
Great, yeah, he still is too. And I've done a couple mock drafts, and we did the slow draft on Underdog. Jay, sign up for that, will you? So we can get into one.
Yeah.
But yeah, Travis Kelce still in the first round, and I don't think he falls from the first round. So
no way. I think Travis Kelce gonna be top 5 pick.
I wouldn't doubt it.
You know. So all right. Any last words before we move on?
I think we're done talking about Daddy.
Okay, we'll move on to the major disappointment for me last year, and we're going to the Las Vegas Raiders.
The Raiders.
Okay, they're in a rebuilding they're in the rebuilding process for
Come
sure.
on. You can't call it a rebuild. Can you?
Yeah, because they
How?
because they didn't do any major moves in the preseason in the postseason. Oh, sorry, the offseason. I mean, they did, but they're not that big. Well, we'll talk about it. Their key additions are Jimmy Garoppolo, which Jacoby Myers, which he could be okay. Marcus Epps, Brandon Facyson, Philip Dorsett, Robert Spillane, Jay's boy OJ Howard.
That's your boy.
Adam's boy Austin Hooper, Luke Shelley, David Long, and allegedly Josh Jacobs, but that doesn't really count. But they had some pretty big
Still hasn't signed his tenure, by the way,
Right.
for his tag.
They had some pretty big departures, Adam. Tell me about them.
Key departures: QB Derek Carr,
Which
definitely
Downgrade.
a downgrade from.
He's a downgrade.
Yeah, I agree there. Losing Darren Waller, huge loss there when he's healthy. Even Foster Moreau, who has played well in Darren Waller's absence, which I drafted Darren Waller in one of my leagues, and the minute he got hurt, I picked up Foster Moreau, and he, you're looking for 10 to 15 points out of your tight end, and he was there every week. So I was happy with that. But wide receiver Matt Collins, who had a really good season actually towards the end of the season.
I think Jay was starting him for a while.
Yeah, I think he was actually.
Yep.
And then linebacker Denzel Perryman, which, is what it is, I guess. They never really had a really good defense anyway. So
here's my question: we all love Darren Waller, but the guy is constantly hurt. We know.
Constantly hurt. I completely agree, and he's the most frustrating tight end in the league. But you have to draft him. You have to. You had to.
But here's so is an oft injured Darren Waller, and nobody felt the pain more than Jay and I. I don't know. I don't think you did, but Jay and I, he was our tight end fantasy crush last year.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
So is a Darren Waller for fucking 6 games better than having Austin Hooper, OJ Howard, and the tight end with the nickname Baby Gronk drafted, right?
So that's tough. I don't know.
Right? So so that's
tough.
That's something.
But I would, of course, when Darren Waller is out there, you have to start him. He's a must start.
Well, Jay, why don't you tell us the Las Vegas Raiders starting lineup?
It's dog shit.
You almost made me do a spit take.
Devontae Adams.
Almost do a spit take.
Jimmy G, Josh Jacobs, Devontae Adams, Jacoby Myers, Hunter Renfrow.
That's not bad.
Austin Hooper is starter on this with OJ Howard as the third string.
No way they list Austin Hooper as the starter. Are you kidding?
Yep.
It's a rookie.
Really?
He's a rookie. I bet you they would.
Yeah,
I bet you they're going to list
right.
Knox over Dalton.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But
Tony Chaz's boy is third string. OJ Howard.
Nice.
Freak, bro.
Wait, wasn't he the number 1 tight end week 1?
He was.
That's
he was. You are right. Week 1.
I love that.
That's true. He was for Houston. Here's the thing. I know, and I won't get as much diatribe as I was last year on it. Their head coach, Josh McDaniels, is building his team. Yep. He's building his team. He got Jimmy Garoppolo, and guess what he did for Jimmy Garoppolo? He drafted Jimmy Garoppolo.
Yes, he did.
Josh Jacobs is there. Whatever. Okay. Had a great year last year with this coaching staff. They traded for Devontae Adams. They signed Jacoby Myers, who who drafted Jacoby Myers?
Josh McDaniels.
Right? So they go and get tight end Michael Mayer, whose nickname is Baby Gronk. Who drafted Gronk?
Yeah. I agree with you.
So he's getting
Jake, keep going. Keep going with the starting lineup. Get to the running backs. My man is a crush.
He skipped. He did it, but he.
Oh, did he? I'm sorry, I didn't hear it. I apologize.
I was doing drops. My bad.
Josh Jacobs.
Oh, my boy.
What's behind him?
Sign your freaking tag, Josh Jacobs.
Zamir White.
That's what they're saying. Zamir second. Do they list the third?
Really?
Amir Abdullah.
Oh my God!
Oh my God, still in the league, huh? Wow.
So they got Zamir and Amir.
Yep.
Okay.
Yes.
Nice.
I mean, I got to say, I know I went overboard last year, but I still really like the look of this offense. And I know I went crazy overboard with it last year. What if it happens this year?
So let me ask you this then, Jazz.
It won't. It's not going to.
Let me ask you this too.
Yes, dear.
Does the offense is it because of Devontae Adams being on the offense, or is it because of Josh McDaniels getting his boy Jimmy G and Jacoby Myers? Is that why you like their offense?
So they have one of the top running backs in the league. They have one of the top
the top running back last year.
Sure. They have one of the best receivers in the league. They had one of the best tight ends. He's gone now, but you never know what they got. And I actually like all three of these guys. You know, baby Gronk, but Hooper's a baller. But none of these guys
can be.
They could be. But I just think it's like I gave him a lot of praise last year. And it failed me. But you guys remember watching some of those games, the battles they had with the Chargers and the Chiefs. Like, they were never blown out.
You're right. And they lost a lot of close games last year, and I will give them that.
They were never blown out.
They were in some games, for sure.
So to me, it's like
could have been a very different outcome.
I can't have the Stockholm Syndrome and do this again and like pick them to win this division. But, like, I still think they could put up a pretty formidable offense. And don't forget, they've got great pass rushers on defense as well. Yep. So I think they can be a player, but like I still think you obviously got to give the Chiefs a level. We're not doing our rankings yet, but like I don't think they're as bad as they played last year, and you have to give Josh McDaniels that breath of fresh air. Now this is it for him. Now he's got no excuse.
He's going to be fired halfway through the season still.
You said that last year.
You think so? Wow.
You said that last year.
You want to make a side bet, Jay? Me and you?
Sure.
You said that last year, though.
You think he's going to get fired halfway through?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. I'll take it that I'll take that he's going to be there the whole season.
Yeah. So like
you
got to put it. You got to say like what week 9 by start of week 10. McDaniels is gone. That's what Jay stated. Josh McDaniels is gone between week 1 and week 9. By week 10, you have a different coach. Is that what Jay's saying?
Sure.
So here's the stipulation though, because I do think he's going to make it the whole season. So if he gets fired week 11, 12, anything from 11 to 18, the bet is void. Deal?
Sure.
You want $10?
Yeah.
All right, let's do $10. You heard it. You heard it here on the pod. Jay thinks McDaniels is gone.
Honestly, generally coaches don't get fired, but
But when you make the moves that you made, and this is really McDaniels' year. I think it's going to be.
It's McDaniels'
in my opinion, I just don't think he's a good coach for one. But also,
they
were 6-11 last year, and they really didn't do anything to improve anywhere. And you think they're going to be better? I don't know.
I'm not saying that they're going to be better. I'm saying that he's just going to make it. He's going to make it to the end of the season, and then they're going to let him go when all the coaches get fired that Monday. Wild card week. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Let's just do a rush right now. We're going to do a rush right now. Adam, week 1 against the Broncos. Who wins?
Broncos.
Jesus Christ. Week 2 against the Bills. Okay, we get
Bills.
it. Okay, week 3, Jay, against the Steelers.
Steelers.
Oh, Steelers. Yep.
No.
Yes.
What is better?
The Steelers defense is better than the Steelers defense is better than the Raiders offense.
Here. What do the Steelers offense have better than the Raiders? I'll wait.
I'm not talking about the offense. I said the defense.
Okay, I'm saying let's compare the offenses. So, what does the Steelers offense do better than the Raiders? Not the receiving core, not the running back. We're going to argue the quarterback. I think they're actually pretty similar.
I agree. I'm not arguing. I just still think their defense is better than the Raiders' offense, and the defense is going to carry them to the win.
Okay, I mean, I'm just trying to look at and then the Chargers. We're just going to say the Chargers will be a split. They'll win one of them. They usually.
I agree with that. Yep.
So the Steelers won 3 more games last year than the Raiders.
Sure, yeah, with the most solid coach and the team around him, and that's fine. I don't see them. That's a tough one. That's a tough one. They're going to split with the Chargers. They're probably going to beat the Packers. They're probably going to beat the Patriots.
I agree with that.
They're probably going to beat the Bears.
Yeah, okay. That one I could go either way on it, but
The Lions are interesting. Everyone thinks the Lions are going to the Super Bowl. I highly disagree. So
I disagree with that. Definitely disagree with that.
Who wins that game?
The
Lions,
the Raiders, or the the Lions?
Raiders and Lions. It's on Halloween, the day before Halloween in Detroit. What do you think, Jay? Who wins that game?
What game?
Raiders versus Lions
in Detroit.
Lions.
Well,
I could go either.
Jay's got the Raiders going 0-17. Apparently.
Jay just wants McDaniels to get fired.
All these teams had a better record that you've named than the Raiders have.
So
the Raiders haven't done anything better.
Okay.
So,
but I think the Raiders are going to win that one against the Lions.
And then just looking like the Jets, the Giants, who knows? The Dolphins will probably win. The Chiefs will probably win. They usually split with the Chiefs, but they might not. So
I can see that going either way.
Yeah. So okay. So it's interesting. We'll keep an eye on that. We always discuss the Raiders into depth. Yeah. So let's go to Jay's man crushes. He's going to have them going 17-0.
Herbert for MVP, baby.
We're going with the Los Angeles Chargers. And Jay, why don't you tell me their key additions?
Linebacker Eric Kendricks, tight end Donald Parham, and defensive line Morgan Fox.
Okay, pretty mid. I mean, it's nothing special, right? Parham, was a guy that they had a couple years ago that broke his neck, so it's great to see him on the field.
Mm-hmm.
They lost Drew Tranquil, which is a good thing. They lost Kyle Van Noy, which, he's a leader, but who knows? Eric Hendricks is too. So that's
mm-hmm.
And Nasir Adderley retired. But Adam, who did they draft that could be major?
Oh, Quentin Johnson. Okay. Big wide receiver out of TCU. Which it still baffled me that they drafted him. But looking back at it, Keenan Allen's in his 30s, Mike Williams in his 30s. Both guys have injury problems. I can see Quentin Johnson seeing the field a lot actually on this team.
Mind-boggling, isn't it?
So yeah, it really is. It really is. But they have Justin Herbert, man, and he's a baller, and he can sling it, and he's got a little bit of mobility in him too, and I mean, if Austin Eckler signs, whatever he decides to do, if he's playing with them or getting traded or whatever that situation is, yeah, I mean, the Chargers still have a solid team. I agree that they're going to split with the Raiders, but it could go either way.
Jay, these are your second baby boys after the Bills, just like the Raiders are mine. They were pretty similar to letting us both down last year. And we're, even though the Chargers made the playoffs, but the Chargers had the epic, probably second worst playoff meltdown ever last year. So my questions to you, Jay, are A, is that letdown going to be is there going to be a hangover from that letdown in the playoffs? We're talking about the 28-point comeback from Jacksonville Jaguars. And B, is losing their offensive coordinator and hiring Kellen Moore going to change the offense in a certain way?
I don't think there's going to be a hangover. I think they're probably going to use it as fuel. As far as offensive coordinator, who knows? I mean, possibly.
I think the offensive coordinator situation is giving me, and Adam's going to fight me for this because he's got a man crush on Eckler. But what it's giving me really big hesitation to move Eckler down my rankings a little bit. Now, here's why. He's coming from the Cowboys who, what do they do great? Run the ball. But what do the Cowboys do great also? Use multiple running backs, right, Adam? I'm not lying.
You're not lying. I agree with you so far.
And what do the Cowboys do a lot when they run the ball a lot? They really run the ball a lot. Where Eckler but a lot of his hay through the passing game.
Right.
Eckler's a smaller back, and if they're going to start throwing him up the middle like they did Zeke,
so
that gives me fear that he gets hurt.
Yeah, my thing with the running backs for the Chargers, though, is that they rotated them through anyway before.
No.
Yes, they did.
Not like Cowboys.
Not like the Cowboys did, because they also had Tony Pollard, who is really good. And guess what? They kept him over Zeke.
Right. But what
Right?
I'm saying is, like, they had 2 fantasy relevant running backs in forever, not forever, but for almost forever in Dallas, especially with Kellen Moore, because Zeke, people are shitting on him. You guys know how many touchdowns Zeke had last year?
I think he had like 7 or 8.
12.
Really? Wow. I didn't even think it was that much.
Zeke had a great year last year. Pollard had a great year last year.
Yeah,
so, like, that's what scares me, that they might start using another running back, which will eat into Eckler, but Eckler will still be the 1A. But the more thing that's scary is if he does start pounding the ball, I'm afraid he's going to get hurt, because up until the last couple of years, he wasn't the healthiest, and he's been, and I'll give him his credit. So any argument we have for Eckler, we can save it for Christian McCaffrey too. We got to put them in the same bubble.
Yeah,
you
true.
know?
Yeah, true.
And it's the same argument with McCaffrey when we get there. So that's the only thing that's scaring me that might make me put Eckler down in my rankings. That doesn't mean to like the 15th running back, but he might be the 4th or 5th instead of 2nd. You know,
right? Yeah, they're not. I don't disagree.
So Jay, I didn't get it. What I don't believe I asked. What is the starting lineup?
Yep. Herbert, Eckler, Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, Quentin Johnson, Gerald Everett.
Man, that would look a lot better with Dalton Kincaid, but I digress.
Can't believe
who do they have as other running backs?
Joshua Kelly, Isaiah Spiller.
So the same ones
they had last year.
Same hacks.
Yep, same ones they had last year.
So, and who knows? You never know. Dalvin Cook could be there in 2 weeks, and Jay would die.
Could be.
Maybe. Because Dalvin Cook's already a man crush of him.
Right.
So it's interesting. Everybody's in play, and everyone's in play. Eckler, sure, maybe one of the backups, but there's no clear of who the backup is. Obviously, Herbert. All 3 receivers, possibly 4, because Palmer had a great year last year.
Yeah, he
did. Yes,
and I think Everett's in play. So I think when I do my rankings, Everett's going to be maybe a top 12, top 15 tight end. So
yeah, I can put him there.
So they're all in play. So you got to just roll with it and hope for the best. It's just interesting how different, I guess, it could look, because drafting the rookie receiver, does that take away from the 2 starters, or is he just Palmer, or is it time for Keenan Allen to step aside? Except Keenan Allen has been better every year than Mike Williams.
I agree. But again, like I mentioned, just the injuries for both of those guys.
One or both are going to be hurt at some point in the season.
Yeah, probably at the same time.
So Quentin Johnson, honestly, I think, is going to be a monster. I think so.
Very true.
I think he's definitely going to see the field quite a bit, actually.
Yep.
And I think it's going to be due to the injuries to Mike Williams and Keenan Allen.
Well, very true. So, like I said, we got one more team to cover, then we'll run over our rankings real quick. And Adam, are you ready to get
unlimited?
Jay,
Broncos country, baby. Let's
Jay,
ride.
are you ready to get
unlimited?
Hey, don't they got a new saying? Isn't it not "Let's ride" anymore? Don't they got a new one?
Oh yeah, their new saying is.
Yeah, that too.
That's about right.
But I don't know. I seen something about they had a new slogan, but I don't know.
Russell Wilson looking lean. You saw those workout videos, boys.
Sliding. Okay. So,
oh God, the Denver Broncos.
It's the same thing. If I'm going to say that about the Raiders, got to say the same thing here for the Broncos. Coaching change. One of the greatest coaches of the generation.
I agree.
Right? Coming in. Okay.
Sean Payton.
The guys coming in key additions. Jay, what's the first key addition? What does it say?
Head coach Sean Payton.
That's a big deal.
Huge.
Right? And the only one we got to mention for the key additions are Samaje Perine, and we'll get to that in a minute. Why that's great. Adam, looking at their departures, does any of that stand out for you?
Not really. Ronald Darby, maybe
the old Bill Ronald Darby.
Yeah, Ronald Darby.
And then they brought in Marvin Mims. So Jay, what does that give us for starting lineup?
Russ, Javonte Williams, Big Booty Jerry Jeudy, Cortland Sutton, Tim Patrick, the worst triple receiving core ever.
I don't disagree.
Most overhyped core of all football, I think. And
Very
then Chaz's boy, Greg Dulcich, and starting tight end.
And who's the second string tight end, Jay?
Alberto.
Come on, you sold out, you bastard.
Yep.
How many letters are in Albert Okwuegbunam's last name?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Okay. Side note: the Broncos do have a new motto.
Oh, you looked it up?
Yes.
What is it?
Uncommon. That's it.
Oh my god.
What?
That's all. It's just uncommon.
Just uncommon. That's it.
Yep.
So it's common. I thought that could have been fun. Okay.
Oh god.
Here's the thing. Fantasy football wise, Javonte Williams is on everybody's radar, but he's going late because he tore his ACL. You don't know when he's coming back, and usually they take a little bit to thing. That's why I think Samaje Perine is going to be a big deal than people realize, because that's like the first thing Sean Payton went out and did was sign Samaje Perine.
Yeah. Jay, do they still have Melvin Gordon?
No, they cut him halfway through the season.
That's right. You're right.
He went to the Chiefs.
Right. That's right.
And now he's, or actually, wait. Now he's. First of all, I'm offended at myself because we talked about the Chiefs and I never dropped
Kermit the Frog here.
So I'm very upset with
I can't. You're fired.
I can't believe that. So
our show now, Jay.
So here's the thing with the Broncos, right? We all know
they suck.
And I'm gonna sell it here. I'm not saying I believe this, but let me be a salesman here. We all know the Broncos have a Hall of Fame quarterback, right?
No.
What? Yes.
Yeah, I think Russell Wilson's going to make the Hall of Fame.
He certainly is. Okay, so he's coming off a last year that we can describe as right. Okay,
you agreed.
So now Sean Payton, when he became the coach of the Saints, signed a free agent quarterback that everybody thought was, and turned the guy into a Hall of Famer in Drew Brees. Sean Payton had one of the greatest fantasy football running backs of all time in Alvin Kamara, which nobody drafted in our all-time draft, which is a little weird. And, you know, he also is responsible for one of the greatest receiving seasons of all time with Michael Thomas a few years ago. Are any of these lies?
No.
Okay.
No.
I don't think we're going to disagree with that.
Sure. So it's like, as much as we want to minimize the Sean Payton effect, I do think we need to like keep it in there as, you know, Cortland Sutton, Big Booty Jerry Jeudy, and now Marvin Mims, you know, but have always had a lot of hype and it's never delivered. But now Sean Payton's there. And Russell Wilson was garbage, but he was also in a new system, and now Sean Payton is there, right? So it's like, you know, this team could surprise people. This team could finish second in this division and get a wild card. Or
I agree.
Or they could pick, you know, top 5 in the draft next year, which Seattle might have that pick.
Yeah, maybe.
You know, so I don't know what to say about this team, but if this team does take a step forward and the Raiders do take a step forward, this division is going to be absolute insanity.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean,
but we also thought that last year when the Broncos traded for Russell Wilson, and everybody's first thought was, "Oh my God, look at the AFC West."
Everybody except the boys of the Fantasy Football Bros podcast. Nobody was on the Broncos or Russell Wilson's jock last year.
Not true
on this podcast.
Not here, but I'm saying the other analysts, you know.
Yeah.
Even though we're the only ones that matter, it doesn't matter.
So that's the only thing. So there's a lot to talk about. There's a lot. They could really take a step up, especially with Sean Payton.
Mm-hmm.
I'm willing to give Russell Wilson a second chance because not a top 10 quarterback or anything like that. But like, you know, how I viewed, say, Aaron Rodgers last year. I took Aaron Rodgers as the last starting quarterback, you know, when we did the draft. You know, maybe that's where Russell Wilson could fall in for me. And if he sucks like Aaron Rodgers did last year, I'll figure something out. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's all. So like,
that's fine. I'll be drafting Russell Wilson as my third quarterback again. So
that worked out well for you yesterday. Last year you traded him for nothing.
Yeah.
Traded him for something.
Russell Wilson? I don't think I traded him at all. I think I traded Stafford to country music superstar.
Okay, so Jay, give me the 1 to 4 of how this division is panning out.
Chiefs, Chargers, Raiders, Broncos.
Chiefs, Chargers, Raiders, Broncos. Okay, Adam, your turn.
Chiefs are still daddy, and I'm going to say it until they lose. Chiefs, I'm going to go with the Chargers, Raiders, and the Broncos again. Yeah, I agree. I agree with Jay there. Yeah,
I think it's going to be the No, I'm kidding. I think it's going to be the Chiefs, the Chargers, the Broncos, and the Raiders. As much as I like the Raiders, I really do have a feeling that the Broncos are taking a step up. And
I think you can interchange the Raiders and the Broncos at any point. But like you said, we just don't know what to expect. We know what we should. We know what we should expect with Sean Payton, right? But now all these guys have to get reacclimated with the new offense again. So we'll see how long it takes them to click and see what they can do. Maybe we will be wrong, and maybe it's going to be the Chiefs, the Broncos, the Chargers, the Raiders. Who knows?
That's exactly what I was going to say. Like, as a caveat, I would almost like to think if the Broncos do take a step up, they could finish second in the division over the Chargers. But I'm not calling it right now. But these aren't our official rankings. These are our rankings right now. Our official rankings come in the the season preview episode.
Yeah, I think that the only team that has a realistic chance of dethroning the Chiefs is going to be the Chargers in this.
I mean, it's easy to say because
they
were close, but I just, if everything comes together for these Broncos, people could have just been a year off, right?
Maybe.
As much as I hated on them last year, I'm trying to be, I'm trying to be objective here. So, all right, guys, let's head over to the NFC West, and we are going to start with.
Hey there, little fella.
We are going to start with the Arizona Cardinals. That is an AFC West team. Yes, it is.
Yeah.
So while you guys NFC West, while you guys find it there, I'm going to talk about their key additions. Head coach Jonathan Gannon, which is coming over. Defensive coordinator from Philly, right? Is that who he was?
I believe so.
I believe he's defensive coordinator in Philly. Kazir White, Chris Barnes, Zach Pascal, Will Hernandez, and Matt Prater. And if I got one word to sum that up, that is. So. If you're there, Adam, what are their key departures?
The Arizona Cardinals, key departures. Edge rusher, Zach Allen. Cornerback, Byron Murphy.
It's a good one.
That's a good one. Linebacker, Ben Neiman. Edge rusher, J.J. Watt, who retired this year. Defensive tackle, Tristan Hill. And guard, Cody Ford, which nobody cared about. But I don't know why they don't list DeAndre Hopkins. They cut him. But he's also
this was made before. Yes.
Yeah, I know, but you think they would update it, but can't forget about Hopkins.
Sure, that's a big
cut there. So that's a big one for them.
And they added some line help on both sides. So Jay, now with the departure of Hopkins, what is their starting lineup?
Kyler, James Conner, Marquise Brown, Rondale Moore, Greg Dortch, Zach Ertz.
It's still not a bad.
Just hit the drop.
Hey there, little fella.
But remind you though that guy tore his ACL, so he ain't starting.
Yep, also coming from injury, so he's not starting. Who do they have listed behind Kyler?
Yeah, what is that looking like?
Colt McCoy.
He'd actually played pretty good.
Colt McCoy's not bad. He's a journeyman. He'll get you a couple wins, but nobody knows the timetable for Kyler to come back. I all of us here at the Fantasy Football Pros shit on Kyler every time we talk about him.
It's very true.
And regardless of if he's healthy or not healthy, Arizona ain't winning shit this year.
No. There's not a lot to talk about. James Conner, sure, will be on your team. And
definitely, and Marquise Brown will be on the team too. He's their number one.
Yep, Marquise Brown on your team. James Conner, Zach Ertz.
Zach Ertz too, but Zach Ertz got hurt late, didn't he?
Yep. So
was that a torn ligament or was that just like an ankle injury or something? I think it was just like a sprain.
Was that the year before though? He went out. I think so.
Well, he got traded from the Eagles to Arizona last year.
Yeah, when we
got hurt in Arizona, I'm pretty sure.
Actually, he got traded the year before because we were.
Was it the year before?
We were in Nashville the day that happened.
Oh, that's right. Yep,
Yeah.
you're right.
Jay wasn't with us because he doesn't like.
Yeah. Nah, yeah.
Jay, do you think this team has any chance of finishing top 2 in this division?
No, not a chance.
If there was a 5th in the division, they'd be there. Let's just put it there.
Do you like any of these options?
No, especially with Colt McCoy or Kyler. I mean, by the time Kyler Murray comes back, Call of Duty will probably be out, so he's not going to be any good. So
here's the only thing I want to say is I like Marquise Brown. He's a game breaker. I always like Zach Ertz, but what I think is someone to keep an eye on is James Conner, because they got a new head coach. He's a defensive-minded head coach. What do defensive-minded head coaches usually like to do, Adam?
Run the ball.
Right? So that's the only reason you're looking at James Conner.
I agree. Yeah,
and you're looking at James Conner late, 5'6".
Yep, for sure.
So
maybe if you're looking for a running back 2, borderline running back 3, James Conner's your guy.
I think we're done here. Nothing else to say about these guys?
Yeah, I'm done with the Cardinals.
Last thing to say about these guys is, all right, we're moving on to the Super Bowl champs from 2 years ago. The Los Angeles Rams we're moving on to, and from the looks of it, they have 3 people in their key additions and about 42 people in their key departures. So their key additions are Hunter Long, Marquise Copeland, and Coleman Shelton. Any relation, Jay?
No, not.
Okay. Never, honest to God, heard of any of those guys.
Me neither.
And then their additions were an offensive lineman, an edge rusher, a defensive lineman, and from the draft, and 47-year-old Stetson Bennett at quarterback. So they've had some major departures, Adam.
Big time.
So why don't you give them to me?
First of all, I believe they traded Jalen Ramsey, to the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Yep.
Wait, did he go to the Jaguars?
No, he went to the Dolphins.
That's right. He went to the Dolphins. I'm sorry. He came from whatever.
Yeah.
I'm all fucked up. Jalen Ramsey, edge rusher, and newly acquired Buffalo Bill Leonard Floyd.
Huge
pickup for the Bills.
Bills fans
huge departure. Huge departure for the Rams defense there. Bobby Wagner and Jazz's boy Allen Robinson.
Yep.
New Pittsburgh Steeler.
So by the way, Bobby Wagner was the best, one of the best in the league. Went back to Seattle. Allen Robinson. Okay.
Yep. Another signing by the Bills. Safety Taylor Rapp.
Big signing. You don't even realize.
Big signing. Two big guys we took from LA there. Kicker Matt Gay. Fine.
Didn't even know he got cut, by the way.
Yeah.
Okay.
Safety Nick Scott. Punter Riley Dixon. Special team guy Matt Orzik, and cornerback David Long. Those are your departures.
Literally, they lost their kicker, their punter, and their long snapper. They lost their entire special team.
Yep.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
This team,
and they lost pretty much their entire defense.
And they got an F for free agency and trade grade.
Yeah.
But here's the thing.
And their draft was a C+, which, I mean, they just had a rough one. They had a rough offseason.
Well, they had no picks because they traded it all.
They traded them all.
But here's the thing. Yeah. This team could still finish second in this division.
Good.
They still have a great
doubtful though.
They still have one of the best receivers in the league.
Yes, Cooper Kupp, stud. We all know it.
Jay, well, speaking of that, what is the offensive, Jay?
It's Stafford, Akers, Cooper Kupp, who's hurt still, possibly Van Jefferson.
He should be coming back though.
Who do they have after Van Jefferson though?
Who they got after Jefferson?
Yeah, so you got a Kupp, Jefferson,
Ben Skoranek.
Oh, the big white guy.
The big white guy.
And then tight end Tyler Higbee.
Who is pretty good.
Solid. Yep, solid.
I mean, that's not as good.
They do have offense.
Yeah, it's not as good as the Rams 2 years ago. But.
No, it's their defense that worries me in this division. for them just winning the Super Bowl 2 years ago. To lose all those guys that we mentioned, like
they still got
that's massive. They do have Aaron Donald.
That's like all they have, though.
Yeah, it's very true.
So,
right now, it is. Yeah,
we forget how good that team was, dude. They had Aaron Donald, Jalen Ramsey, Von Miller, Bobby Wagner. Fuck.
Yeah,
but Bobby Wagner was the next year. I'm sorry, but still, like crazy that they had all that stuff. That was such a good team, and they went all in with the trade for Von Miller, with the trade for OBJ, and now they've had no draft picks. And I mean, they're not.
The big one was the Goff trade. That's where all their first round picks went for Stafford.
No, that and I forgot about to mention that. You're right, but that and Von Miller.
Yeah,
OBJ I think was free agent, but Von Miller they traded like 2 picks too. So I wouldn't be surprised if this team finishes second in this division. I wouldn't be surprised if this team finished fourth in division. They're still up in the air.
Yep, I agree.
Jay, you got any last words about these boys here?
No.
All right, Adam, you got any last words about them?
No, I think I'm good with the Rams.
All right, we're going to move on to a lot of people's favorite picks to win the NFC, and that is the led San Francisco 49ers. So, talking about their departures, they lost Jimmy Garoppolo, Mike McGlinchey, Sam Ekuban, Jimmy Ward, whatever. The key additions in the draft, they didn't have a lot because they traded for so there's that. So Adam, what are some key additions they've had re-signed?
They only list 3 here. Jair Brown.
No, go up.
Key draft additions. Additions, re-signings. Oh, sorry. I was looking at the wrong one. Defensive tackle, Javon Hargrave.
Good. That's huge.
Big pick there. Backup quarterback, Sam Darnold. Cornerback, Isaiah Oliver. Center, John Feliciano. Yeah. Kicker, Zane Gonzalez. Cleveland Farrell. Does that sound right? And then Tashawn.
Cleveland Farrell and Tashawn Gibson.
Cleveland, okay.
Both
and
former
then Tashawn
Raiders.
Gibson. Yeah.
Both former Raiders, and Cleveland Farrell was John Gruden's first ever draft pick, and he went 4th overall, and the guy was complete garbage. That's a 4th overall pick, guys. Garbage. But their team was already bussing. And talking about the people they lost, it doesn't matter, Yeah. But here's the interesting thing, guys. A debate we had all last year, and a debate we're going to have probably all this year. And I'll give up some breathing room. Who's their starting quarterback?
Who knows at this point? Could be anyone.
It's got to be Brock Purdy.
It's got to be Purdy. Then I think they're going to rotate.
But he's probably still hurt.
I'm just saying.
Yeah. It's interesting because Brock Purdy is fine. But he's good for that system of like, go be basic and be like Jimmy Garoppolo and have all these weapons at your disposal and found the open guy. Great. And he did that for them last year and got him the NFC Championship game, just like Jimmy Garoppolo did, 3 out of 4 years. But the reason they drafted Trey Lance was to have a more explosive offense and quarterback, right? And obviously, right? Because they had Garoppolo, they were successful. They traded up to get Lance. Lance gets hurt, Garoppolo gets hurt. They put in Garoppolo Jr. They have just about as success. So it's easy to say they're going to run in with Brock Purdy, and sure, he deserved it. But deep down, is that what Kyle Shanahan wants to do?
No, I think he wants to go with Trey Lance.
Yeah, they obviously don't like your boy Trey Lance. So
that's silly.
So, God, I hate talking about Trey Lance. I hate talking about Trey Lance, but you can't. What Brock Purdy did, what Brock Birdie, if
that's
you will,
nickname Brock Birdie.
That Brock Birdie. What Brock Purdy did last year for the 49ers, can't ignore it.
No,
you can't. He played very well,
and he deserves it.
And he definitely deserves to be the starter there. If they come out and say Sam Darnold's starting for them, I'm going to freak out.
Yeah, that'd be tough.
Especially after at the end of the season that he had. I mean, they went to the NFC Championship.
Yeah, with Purdy,
with Brock Purdy,
just like they did with Jimmy Garoppolo all these years. And what did they do?
And win. I know,
right? It's like it's the same.
Yes, it's going to be the same, and it's just I don't know. I hate, like I said, I hate talking about Trey Lance, but how do you not figure out what this guy's got? Right?
Well, you guys dislike Trey Lance. You always have, but like, it was always the same argument with Jalen Hurts too. Like even like 4 years ago, like why would we start Jalen Hurts? We have Carson Wentz. Well, look how that turned out, right? Like,
yeah,
the kid's never had his chance. But come on, you guys watched the NFC games and the Brock Purdy. He's fine, right? Like he's not incredible. He's not amazing.
I think that's the MO of the Niners. They have mediocre quarterback play, right? They've always had mediocre quarterback play.
And that's why they traded so much to go get a dynamic athletic quarterback.
Yeah.
Who's the worst thing that ever happened to him was he was a rookie and then he got hurt. Like literally, that's all.
Did he get hurt? Did he get hurt his rookie year too?
No, he wasn't the starter. The rookie.
No, he's right. Okay,
and then he played.
Then he gets the starting job and plays an absolute mud bowl monsoon against the Bears,
and then hurts himself in the first quarter.
The very next game, 2 plays, 3 plays, done.
So that's the worst thing this kid ever did. Like
literally.
And the thing is like they either have to start him or trade him because his contract's coming up soon. He was drafted the same year as Justin Fields, right? And Trevor Lawrence, right? So my microphone just like fell down. Okay, so they have.
It wasn't me. I didn't bang on the table.
They have to start him soon. I don't know. You guys both don't like him, but Jay, what's your take on the quarterback situation?
It's a mess, I think. I don't know what they're going to do. I mean, if Brock Purdy's still hurt, do they go with Trey Lance or like they obviously don't trust Trey Lance. So, I mean, you would think that they would just trade him.
Well, here's a hot take, guys. Here's a hot take.
Or he's not as good as you think he is.
He doesn't have the chance. Everyone used to say that.
It's just more about not having a chance than anything.
Jalen Hurts was terrible. He can never do anything. His second round draft pick. Oh, all he does is run the ball. He's got no accuracy, and now look at him. Right? Like it's the same criticism of Trey Lance, except the guy never starts, and the guy has arguably better weapons than almost the same, if not better weapons than when you surrounded Jalen Hurts with that. Right? So it is what it is. But you got to remember too, guys, that whoever their quarterback is, if it's Trey Lance, you need to get on your fantasy team. And if it's Brock Purdy for fantasy, he might be a backup, but he doesn't move the needle for me as a starting fantasy football option. So
I honestly I think both of them. If you take Purdy, you should draft Lance. If you know what I mean, like. Yeah. That should be your insurance. Like if you're looking at a quarterback late and you're like, oh man, I could really go with Brock Purdy here. Your next pick should be Trey Lance.
Well, here's a hot take, guys, because we never know what the fucking San Francisco 49ers do. So starting quarterback, winner of the NFC Championship, and comeback player of the year is going to be Sam Darnold. All right, so think about that because you never know what.
I don't even know what I would do if that happened.
So obviously you want Christian McCaffrey, and obviously with Christian McCaffrey, you also
want Samuel.
You want Elijah Mitchell as well. Don't forget about him.
True.
Debo Samuel, who's going to be on everyone's roster. You're going to have Brandon Ayuk, that's on everyone's roster. You're going to have George Brittle on everyone's roster.
Yeah, except George Brittle for sure.
Except Jay.
Yeah, no shit.
So this team is a fantasy wonderland as well as their defense. So
solid, one of the best defenses in the league.
And let's just move on to our last team because we've been doing this for a while with the Seattle Seahawks, who surprised everybody last year.
They really did.
When I listened back to our official picks, we all said that the Seahawks are probably picking first in the draft. So we were very wrong. We were very wrong on this team.
Yes, very.
So they've got Geno Smith back. They got Bobby Wagner back. They got Devin Bush now. They signed rookie receiver Jackson Smith-Njigba and running back Zach Charbonnet. But who did they lose, Adam? And does it matter?
No. Rashad Penny, Marquise Goodwin, and Cody Barton.
It doesn't matter. You're right.
Doesn't matter for either of those three guys.
Nope, it doesn't matter because they got Charbonnet. They got
and I think with the Seahawks, one of the most underrated picks that people are I think overlooking is the addition of Zach Charbonnet. Yes. And the reason being is because Ken Walker had a great season.
Yes.
Okay. Got hurt late in the season, probably cost some people some fantasy playoffs. I know I was one of them. I had him, got hurt, had to start. I think I want to say Michael Carter probably with my other running back, who was Nick Chubb, by the way. Very underrated pick. Definitely you want to try and get Charbonnet on your team if you draft Ken Walker.
If you draft anybody,
you should still want him on your team. So,
well, Jay, what's their starting lineup?
It's a starting lineup.
Jay fell asleep on us. What is it?
It's Smith, Walker, DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, JSN, tight end Noah Fant.
So how do you guys draft these three receivers? Like, what order are you drafting these three receivers?
DK, JSN, and Lockett.
I'm right with you.
Yeah, I agree. I think Metcalf still has to go first. And then honestly, I don't care who you take after either JSN or Lockett. Lockett had a lot of touchdowns last year too.
Sure. Sometimes you get new hot.
But yep, with JSN there, who is electric. Either one of those guys, I'm right there with you guys. Definitely DK first, and then the other two, I don't care who when you take them.
All right, Adam. 1 to 4, the division.
Ooh, the division. I gotta go San Francisco 1, Seattle 2, Rams 3, Arizona 4.
I'm exactly with you.
And if I can honestly take Arizona at 5, I would.
I'm right with you. What about you?
I agree.
Yeah. Here's like I was, hot take. And that thing for Sam Darnold, I wouldn't put past. I'm not actually calling it. But here's an actual hot take. The Cardinals are going to be so bad that they draft Caleb Williams next year and cut Kyler Murray. So
that would be something after they just paid him $51 a year.
Yep.
I think the only way the Rams can be second is if Geno Smith regresses.
And that's not out of the question. I mean,
it's not.
We were all saying the Seahawks are going to be the worst team in the league last year, and they had a great year. There's no reason, that
we shit on the Seahawks. Yeah. As soon as they signed Geno Smith, we were like, wow. Yeah. Look at these guys. They trade Russell Wilson for Drew Lock. They bring in Geno Smith, who has a fantastic year. We definitely shit on the Seahawks there, and they definitely surprised everybody who plays fantasy football, just who likes football in general.
Yeah,
everybody was surprised by them.
Yeah, so there's no reason to think that they can't regress. And Jay's right.
Sure, I totally agree, but I don't see them regressing, especially adding another receiver like JSN on offense. They're set up for another good year.
That's true. Well, we made it. You kept Jay up late.
Sorry, Jay. I apologize for being late, buddy.
So Jay just wants to tell you that you can go yourself.
Well, hey, at least you're home, and now you can just go to bed.
That's true.
You don't have to drive anywhere. You don't have to go find your car down the street.
Adam, let's get a play-by-play. Let's get a play-by-play of Jay's wall.
I love the walls, Jay. They look great. Yeah, they look great.
Hey, these are the office walls. So I didn't want to show Adam the primed walls because I didn't want him to make fun of me again.
Hey, I said I love them. I mean, look what I got. My Bills blanket is backwards because I can't figure out how to unmirror my camera on my iPad.
No, it looks good on screen though. It looks good.
Yeah, it's fine.
Jay, I can say your office walls look a lot better than my office wall. So
That's
a fact.
Anyone's
Ugly wallpaper in that room, bub.
That's absolutely
It's okay. We'll get it together though. We'll get it together.
It's all good. Well, guys. So next week we're gonna go to the. Let's follow what we're gonna follow. I'm gonna look it up real quick. We're gonna follow exactly what we went and did last year. So. Let me just pull up our RSS feed real quick. And it's for everyone at home. This is stirring commentary, I'm sure. So we're headed back. So next week we're doing the AFC and NFC North.
Okay.
So the AFC
We'll
and
to talk
NFC
about there, I think.
North. And by the way, Adam, this will officially be your 1 year for this episode because your first episode was July 2nd, 2022, the AFC NFC North breakdowns.
All right.
So,
I like it.
So
cool.
That's when you ruined mine and Jay's marriage.
Yes, I did.
Yep.
From that point.
My bad.
So, all right, boys. Well, thank you for joining us for the podcast. You guys got a lot of information out there. AFC, NFC North next week. So, Jay, thank you for staying up late and having. And Jay, okay, I'm sorry. I know he was late. Jay, stop. Adam was late.
No,
it was too far.
It is totally my fault.
Jay is so mad.
I admitted it, but I did say you guys can start without me, so I don't want to hear it.
And Jay actually said, "Nah, brah." He did. I said we could go, but he did. So Jay, though,
he did. Jay, I appreciate you for staying up and waiting for me to get home. I apologize for screwing up my schedule. Next week, I do not have anything on Wednesday. So if we record on Wednesday, I am all yours anytime you want.
Jay just wants to know.
Anything for you.
Jay wants to know, though, if you won your volleyball match.
We did win all 3 games.
Okay. That makes it better, right?
That was a plus.
That makes it better.
It was worth it.
All right, Jay. Well, thank you for joining us.
Yeah, no problem.
And of course, Adam, when he likes to show up, is here.
I am usually on time.
Give me a break. Thank you for joining us. Our song.
Thank you for having me.
Because I recently just had it on the computer. Is going to be Stained. It's been a while.
Nice.
So
all
that's
right.
going to be
Throwing
our
it old
song
school.
of the week. Yep. So everybody, just remember one thing.
My anaconda.
Don't want none.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much,
All
guys.
right.
We'll see you next week. Peace.
See you guys.
It's been a while since I could hold my head up high, and it's been a while since I first saw you, and it's been a while since I can stand on my own 2 feet again, and it's been a while since I could call you. Fucked up as it all may seem, the consequences that are rendered, I stretched myself beyond my means. It's been a while since I could say that I wasn't addicted, and it's been a while since I couldn't say I love myself as well, and it's been a while since I've gone and fucked things up just like I always do, and it's been a while, but all that shit seems to disappear when I'm with you, and everything up as it all may seem, the consequences that I've rendered, I'm gonna fuck things up again. make this go away. Just one more peaceful day. It's been a while since I could look at myself straight, and it's been a while since I said I'm sorry. And it's been a while since I've seen the way the candles light your face. And it's been a while, but I can still remember just the way you taste and everything I can't remember. It's fucked up as it all may seem to be. I know it's me. I cannot blame this on my father. He did the best he could for me. It's been a while since I could hold my head up high, and it's been a while since I said I'm sorry.
The preceding presentation has been brought to you by the Gear Network.